Okay. Let's see where we are. Ooh, we're still frozen. I always do that. Play. Okay. So yeah, homework's due tomorrow. We'll do one more day of like straight up translating tomorrow, and then we'll kind of be done with that portion of the week per usual. And then yeah, we're gonna take the translation quiz on Thursday. I'm gonna draw 2 sentences from the homework last week. So didn't y'all have 6 translations last week? If you know all 6 of those sentences really well, study them on Wednesday night, Thursday morning. You should do fine on this quiz. If you realize you don't have it, then the best thing to do is like ask a friend who has good handwriting for their homework and like copy it down or something. But yeah, please don't go into this blind. Like, please refresh the sentences from last week a little bit. Yeah. Because I always want to do Lecciones first. And then that's also what I want to use on the translation quiz, which is the second week of the chapter. I know that's like not super intuitive, but it works. The homework, it's over on the table. Yep, y'all's homework is going to be in a pile, not to the far left, but it's under the sticker that says 2.5 homework. So that table exists, so I don't always. There's nothing there though. Okay. I guess we ran out. How did you not get it? You were here yesterday. I'll get it for you in SA today. Try to remind me, okay? Everyone else has it though. All right. I don't know what happened to Lane. I don't know. Okay. So here, let's look at orange, black, and green. Not green, orange and black. You gotta have third declension by now. Really though. Okay, it's a variable for nominative. It's often IS with the what we call the ISIN third declension. And then this is the first one we actually know. I'm teaching a lot of 1.5 kids obviously this year, and they're kind of trying to figure out like what Latin's nouns dictionary entry is like, and I've had to explain to them like in the dictionary entry for a noun, you have like the nominative first, and then you have the what ending second. Anyone? What's the? Yeah, it's the genitive. A lot of people think it's nominative plural, and something like that would be true technically for first and second declension, but then after that it stops being true. But yeah, it's technically the genitive singular, like fama, famai, agricola, agricolae, etc. And so I'm having to explain to kids like, why is that? Like, why does the dictionary entry include the genitive? It's kind of because of third declension, because we have some third declension nouns that end in us in the nominative. We have tempus and corpus and other stuff like that. Virtus, virtue. And so it's not until you see the genitive that you know what declension it is. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what the declension is. So it's hard for them to understand that because they only have the first declension, so they barely have the first two. But that is why we list the nominative. Dative is a long I. If you can get used to a long I showing the dative, that'll be great for 3, 4, and 5th declension. It's just you add a U in there for 4th. And E for 5th, so hold that thought. You get 5th on Monday. Accusative singulars, I mean, they couldn't get more cool than how they are. All the accusative singulars end in M. It's amazing. Technically, there is a neuter third declension ending where it's just the same as the nominative. So like Carmen is neuter, corpus is neuter, so those are also Carmen or corpus in the accusative singular. So I guess I technically should put like a question mark for just for neuter third declension.
When you told me that the third declension nominative for plural for third declension, you said it was US, but I had DS and it said yes.
I thought we were talking about 4th declension. I thought I was looking at your singular nominative, but yeah, I thought I was talking about 4th declension. Maybe I was misreading the way you wrote it. I expect people to write 3rd then 4th, but I mean you don't have to do it that way. Maybe that's what confused me. I'm not sure. But yeah, accusative singulars, EM, UM, EM. Straightforward. I'm like already teaching 5th for some reason, but 3 days early. Ablative, they're just single vowels. Did we talk about yesterday like what the main vowel of every declension is? For first, it's obviously what letter? Anyone out loud? Second, it's like O, U, and I. So second is actually the weirdest in terms of it kind of has 3 vowels it favors a lot. Third is what? It's E, but it's also kind of well, there isn't a U that shows up here. No, I'm sorry, here. But it's like E and I for third. And then 4th is obviously just U. Yeah, so that's why 4th is maybe the easiest one. And 5th is all about E, like just E. So that's why it's like U, E. It's actually sometimes I for ablative, so it's actually both of its favorite vowels for ablative singular. accusative plural, es or long us. Remember this long us shows up here. Here. This is really weird. And here. Yeah. So try to remember that. Those are long USs as opposed to the normal US of nominative singular. And then third declension is fourth is UUM. And then we have ibis. These accusative plurals are the same as the nominative plurals. These crazy shapes help. Computer people, I'm drawing crazy shapes to show the overlaps of all the declensions. You're not missing anything. It just looks chaotic. Who thinks they can get third and fourth by Friday? Me. And so a couple of people did get third and fourth already today, right? Okay. So yeah, y'all try to get all of those by Friday. That would just be perfect as a setup for Monday when we will proceed to the 5th. I will say my 9th grade Latin 3 kids are like, they're on chapter 24 now, 2 chapters past 5th declension. 5th declension does not come up too much. Like you see it like once in a blue moon. I think it is the rarest declension. That's it. Once you learn that 5th one next chapter, you're done learning any noun endings. And then we can just kind of focus on the craziness of verbs and just like zero in on that and like not worry about identifying cases because we should just be able to get really comfortable with this, knowing that it's never going to expand past this. This is it. There's no 6th or 7th declension. I kind of wish there was so I could add more colors to my chart. I think that'd be cool. And then if you're like already doing 3rd and 4th today, then tomorrow you should do present passive, the purple ones or the maroonish ones, and perfect active, the light blue ones. Those would be good to be really familiar with. Okay, let's look at this story. This is from Virgil. It's a poem Virgil wrote before Aeneid, and it's part of the same passage that they adapted for our homework reading that we'll check tomorrow. So it's talking about basically, it sounds like he's kind of predicting some like cataclysmic change in the way the world is, and he's centering it around the birth of like a child. And for a long time, years after he wrote this, early Christian scholars were like, oh, Virgil predicted Jesus. They thought he predicted Jesus. And so they kind of Christians claimed Virgil as a virtuous pagan, meaning like even though he technically didn't know about Christianity yet, because it was basically like coming into existence right around the time he was living. And he, technically Virgil worshipped people like Jupiter and Venus and Mars and stuff. They really like Aeneid because it talks about piety and like being good and ethically good. And so the Christianity kind of claims Virgil to the extent that he shows up in one very Christian Italian poem. Anyone? This would be crazy if someone knew this. Dante's Inferno. He's the guide actually for Dante. Virgil is like the spirit of Virgil takes Dante through the various like dimensions of the underworld, and that is a very Christian text. So anyway, we think this is wrong. We think Virgil is maybe just being influenced by maybe he like read a little bit of the Old Testament, and it just kind of sounds biblical what he's saying, but we don't actually think Virgil somehow like had a vision from the future and was like, oh, Christianity is about to be a thing. Virgil probably dies right before, at least like a decade before Jesus is like crucified. You just guessed? Yeah, I think it's just like making up a story. It's in his poem before Aeneid about like farming, basically. It's just about farming. It's actually kind of ties in. Anyway, so this is on the back of your one of the handouts from last week. It's it says page 173 from the book. So hopefully you have that. If you don't, you need to be writing the Latin and English. So loosen up that writing hand and start writing. Kaden, that means you. Are you right-handed, Cora?
Yes.
Yikes! How did that happen?
Volleyball.
What, were you just like doing this and you kind of hit it wrong?
Well, it was on Saturday. I dove and and then the ball came up and pushed back, and then I tried hitting it and my arm just hurt it.
Yeah, okay, I can picture that. Volleyball's dangerous. You can read this in Latin and give it a shot. I think this will really every Monday and Tuesdays especially, because Monday sometimes we're introducing a new grammar concept, but Tuesdays we're always gonna be spot translating. And the best thing you can do for yourself when you spot translate is probably keep a log of all the words we're running into that you don't recognize. If it's not on this, somewhere in your notebook, I mean, I know if I was a student, I was having to spot translate. I'd be like, yeah, I would need to look up all these words, Mr. Cattle. No, I don't know them. So try to like learn them as we go. I got flashcards, refresher sheets, anything you need, Cam? If you don't mind, thank you. Good. Do you know what ITOS means? Not new. Nova means new.
Oh yeah.
ITOS, are you gonna, didn't I get ITOS mixed? Huh? Yeah, it means age. So if everyone write ITOS, ITOS. And also, I promise you, if you ever want me to clarify what a dictionary entry is, I will stop and write it on the board. It will not take me long. I'll model that right now. Because it is important to know the declension and stuff. This is a third declension word. It means age. It's uncomfortably close to a word for summer and for heat. Istos. And then the other one I can't even. They're all way too close to another. But we only have ITOS. It means age. So what would this be? We have like weird word order, but what do you think, Tammy? I bet we don't know Eon either. You don't remember Eon? Anybody? That's fine. I barely do. It means like now or already. I think already is probably good.
Now a new and great age.
Yeah, now a new great age. I think it just comes. I would have to check the textbook honestly, because this is one of those crazy verbs where literally the only difference between the present tense version and the perfect is a macron. So if in the textbook there's a macron on the e, then it's came. But if it's not, it just comes. It might just be present tense here. So now a new great age comes. Virgil is talking about the age of Aquarius. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know anything about zodiac ages. All right. Good. Let's keep moving. Who can read this one and then tell me where to split this guy up? I should read a bunch of Latin. You try to read as quickly as possible and try to role play and sound like you are actually from ancient Rome. Caden? Huh? No, Caden should go. Yeah, because you're a year one kid. Year one kids always think like pronouncing Latin is really hard. You really just kind of do it until you get the hang of it. Nothing's that weird except C's are always hard. They're always cuh. What else? V's are technically W's, but I'm starting to ease up on that. And I just kind of want to pronounce them as V's lately, just for like clarity's sake. Nope. Someone do the whole thing, please. Thank you, Elena. De Carlo Mitchell Puer, qui vitam deorum habebit deasque, with David at Ipse, with David Tor op Illis. Where's the first place I can kind of like put a line break in, Elena, to kind of like split things up? Yeah, after Puer. So that's technically not the end of like a sentence or anything. But what is probably starting with qui? Anyone? What is beginning with qui? Bailey? Yeah, it's probably something like which, maybe that, maybe who. But that is a what kind of clause? Yep, it's related to what must be the main clause here. So it's kind of underlined qui vitam. I'm going to keep going until I see a verb. Deorum. Oh, there's a verb. Okay. So that's like a little relative clause. Deosque with David. Maybe that's its own thing too. And then I see et. So if anything, this is almost like 4 different things going on. So de Kylo mititor puer. That's very simple once we get to the bottom of mititor. For mito mitra, which means to what, anyone? Sinned. I think y'all know that verb. It shows up a lot, right? To sin, mito mitra, third conjugation. Now, what voice is it, anyone? What voice, Parker? Present passive. Is that what you're going to say, Bailey? Yeah, good. This is just present passive. So this third conjugation, it'd be mitator if it was future. So be careful about that. I will write mito mitra's dictionary entry if anybody needs me to. If you didn't know that means to send, you have got to write it down. So what would that be? It looks like puer is obviously the subject. So the word order is a little weird, but we're pretty used to that. What is this going to be, anyone? I'll start going in a sequence and calling up people. But does anyone want to volunteer for this one before I do that? All right, we're going to start the sequence with Addie. Addie, so puer is a subject. I can just tell. It's a nominative, even though he's after a verb, which is a little weird. It's not that weird for Latin. So the boy, what? He doesn't actively sin. We need a helping verb. Plus, like the verbed version of sin. So the boy not sins actively, but the boy. I'm sorry? No, because we decided it's not future. Be future if it was metator with an E right here. So let's see, since Carly's right next to you, Carly. Keep it a little more simple. Had would be if it was blue perfect passive. That would be something crazy like misos erat. Bailey, you're still that's imperfect. That would be mite bator. Huh? Still imperfect. Addie is it just is. The boy is sent de Kylo. Anyone from the sky. So remember, when you're working with present passive, you have to have helping verbs. And those helping verbs are going to just be versions of be. Be becomes am, becomes is, becomes are. So that's like what makes that kind of tricky is that you're having to think of all, and that's English's fault that we treat be so weird. Imagine English where like be wasn't conjugated, and we just said like I be a teacher, you be a student, it be something. Like what if we just didn't conjugate be? Wouldn't that be weird? But we do conjugate be into am to is to are. And so depending on what the person of the verb is, here's third. We don't say the boy am sent or be sent. It's the boy is sent. You got to use that helping verb. And when it's just present, it's just a present tense. It's not going to be was, it's not going to be had, it's not going to be have. So it's the boy is sent from the sky, ablative of place from where. So that's present passive, right? Everyone think that they're slowly going to use the present passive? Okay. And they're over there, right? We have our present, so we have most of them. They're in the black marker. We have all of them. Good. Okay. The boy is sent from the sky, and the queen is probably. I think its antecedent is the boy. So honestly, I think there's a good reason for plural being at the end. So like from the sky, the boy is sent. Whatever. We could do different word order is what I'm trying to say. But qui, it looks like it's going to be telling us more about the boy probably. So a boy is sent from the sky. So we use who, which, or that. Carly, who, which, or that. Yeah, who's good. We could probably get away with any of them, actually. We could refer to a boy as that or which. But we could probably say, so the boy is sent from the sky. Who, something about vitam deorum habebit. What is habebit, Carly? Yeah, what tense is it? Yeah, good. So the who, what? Will have what? What's a direct object here? Yeah, we'll have a life deorum. This is from Deus Dei, God. Now, sure. What case is deorum, Bailey? It's not deum, it's deorum. So, yeah. So it's he'll have a life. What? Huh? Amongst it. That sounds better than what this actually is, honestly. But Lucy, just of, right? It's genitive. He'll have a life of the gods, meaning like he'll have a godly life. I will say, especially this part, I don't like the way it translates. It sounds very clunky. That's Virgil's fault, I guess, or whoever's adapting Virgil here. Y'all are only 3 chapters away from like getting unadulterated Julius Caesar. My 9th graders are translating like straight, like not even tweaked at all. It's just straight up Julius Caesar, his Gallicore writing. But at this point, they're still kind of making tweaks to make it a little more straightforward because we don't have all the grammar yet. But anyway, who will have the life of the gods. And this sounds weird, but with David Deos, what is that going to be real quick? Anyone? See the gods, which sounds weird to me. But I guess they're saying like he's going to like be in communication with the gods. So, I mean, he's saying gods here. For one thing, it's like clearly this isn't Judeo-Christian theology. If they're still gods, plural, then he's still talking about pagan gods, what Christians would call pagan gods. So he's still talking about like Jupiter and stuff. Or, yeah. So it can't be like, doesn't seem like it's actually about Christianity. So you will see the gods and, with David Tour. We'll talk about it in a second. But with David Tour, what voice is with David Tour keeping? Voice. If I'm asking about the voice, it probably means it's. Yeah, good. It's passive. It has the TUR ending that we just saw in Vititor. It's this guy right here, but it's Fitor. So what tense is it? Is it present passive, future passive, or imperfect passive? That would be Bator, B-A. Yeah, it's future. So, how would we translate it? Some of the people were raising their hands. How would you translate? So, something about like he what? Not will see, but he. Keep it simple. So future passive is actually, I think, the easiest one to translate because you're always going to use the same two helping verbs every time you translate a future passive. Parker, will be? Yeah, will be seen. So whether it's first, second, or third person, future passive is always going to be I will be verb, you will be verb, it will be verb. So, and he will be seen.
Excuse me?
Yes?
Do you have Cora?
Yes.
Can you send her to the office?
Yep.
Thank you.
So he will be seen ab illis. What's ab illis? Luke? By, huh?
Those?
Yeah, those as in like those gods. So we can say them or those. We can probably say those. And what does it say real quick before I show the actual printing? Huh? Not always. I think it's Sci-Fi or Simpe rather. What? Yeah. So picture, we never see this verb, but it's technically is. Is is the Latin what? Anyone? Not she, not it, but he. So if you see ipse just by itself, imagine it's already a he. So it's like he, what? It's an intensive pronoun. That's something you could write down on something.
He was.
No, it's going to intensify the pronoun. He, like he, what's a reflexive thing? Well, it's kind of reflexive. It's intensive. Intensive. Anyone? He. We're still rusty on month 2. I think I would have known this back in March.
I would have known this if I took Latin.
No, he himself, right? An intensive, ipse, ipsum is like himself, herself, itself. Whatever it's next to, it's going to intensify that pronoun. In this case, it's himself, because he's a he. So I didn't even add he. But yeah, feel free to add he, because this is the masculine singular nominative form of it. If so, would be the feminine version. That'd be like she herself. Yeah, that's something you should write down somewhere other than just this translation. Who in here has like an awesome log of vocab words that they encounter throughout the week that they don't know? Anyone? So you have like a dedicated log, like part of your notebook? Good. I know I'm a broken record about this, but like I really wouldn't understand you not doing that. Like have a dedicated, like formalized, like this is where I put every word I don't know. And I will help you make that by like always telling you a dictionary entry if you need it. If you don't like to use your notebook, because that's like where you put other things, then like make your mom go to Barnes and Noble with you and like get one of those like nice looking like diaries or something. I use a tiny composition book, like those marble bound books.
Yeah.
I had like a tiny version. That's what I would use when I was a Latin student. Lucy? No, what are you gonna say? No? Well, I still think it's weird. I think the part where it's just saying he will see the gods, but yeah, I think that just means he's gonna this kid's gonna be incommunicado with the gods. That ablative is an ablative of ancient, by the way. That's worth noting. Okay. This is a cool. Oh, this is. The first part of the sentence is okay, but then it gets crazy. Who can read this in Latin? So why did only 2 people raise their hand when I asked if they had a log? It should be everyone. Nobody else besides Lucy? You have one. Good. Parker has one. Caden is, yeah, you
I want to
read it. Thank you.
What did it go with Hick? I don't know.
Yeah, it's just Hick.
Hick. Yeah. That one was we for 2 tests. Taught the rest. Make them.
Good, yeah. I mean, that was all that was like, that was good. So keep an eye out. We don't have it here, Caden, but sometimes there's a long I, and that would make it, that's long I if that's a macro, that's E. So we do have another word, heek, which means here, where this is hick. That means like this or this man. Good. And yeah, kui, this is like almost a diphthong, where it's almost like kui, but it is kind of 2 separate sounds. It's like kui, as far as I understand. So hic puer reget mundum kui or tutes, patris pacem dederunt. Who can translate the first part of this? What's our new word, mundus, mundum, or mundi? Huh? Good. So, Cami, can you translate hic to mundum? Because that part's pretty simple. Remember rego regera. Good. And rego regera, when I say it like that, I realize it's third conjugation. So actually, this is a present tense. It's what? Right. So you will roll the world. So that part's easy. And then it gets crazy after that. Well, kind of crazy. I am underlining this part because it is a relative clause with the equiquai quad, and I'm gonna underline from there until I hit a verb, and that's a relative clause. I assume Kui is gonna well, I'm not sure, but I think its antecedent is gonna be the world. Remember, Kui, Kwai, Quad, relative pronouns, they have an antecedent, meaning like a word in the main clause that basically they're just gonna tell us more about. So Kui, what case is Kui, anyone? We think of Kui, the genitive is like Cuius, C-U-I-U-S, then Kui, then Quim or Quam, Quode, and then like Quo or Qua for the ablatives. I'm sure y'all totally followed that. Yes? Huh? Yeah, it is dative actually. So if it's dative, what's a preposition we can immediately apply to it? Like I give a direct object to. So to whom, I should have pulled up the relative clause like chart for this, but I didn't. I can find it real quick. But so to which, I'm just already thinking to which because this is dative. I know that's like kind of a stretch, but it's just because I recognize this as dative. I promise I'll pull up the chart the next time we look at a relative pronoun. But it's kind of like we, and then cuius is a genitive, and then kui is the dative. Quim, it goes back to QU as accusative, and quo with a long O is ablative. And these are either singular or plural. Yeah, which is nice about them. The genders are a little bit, like feminine accusative is quam, ablative is qua. And it's like quai for nominative. But that's not that bad. Computer kids, just flip to chapter 17, I want to say, to refresh yourself on relative clauses. Because I should have put it up. I'm sorry. So to which, where tutes patris, I'm not sure about where tutes. It's either a subject or a direct object. I'm not sure which yet. Patris, though, from pater patris. What case is patris, Chloe? Can you tell? I bet you can tell if you listen to what I'm saying. It's from pater patris. So patris here must be the what case? Yeah, good. It's third declension, exactly. So something like the virtues of the father or his father, the boy's father. So we know patris is genitive. Pacem is what case, Luke? Yeah, good. From pax pacis. So we have a lot of we got like 3 third declension nouns in a row: virtue, father, and peace. So we have a genitive and a direct object. And then what is deuterant? What verb does deuterant come from, Parker? Barely looks like it. It is a chapter 1 verb, though. Yeah, it is from dodari. So what tense is it here? It's from do, dari, dedi. This is just the normal, not present, future, or imperfect, but not future. Huh? It's perfect, right? If y'all see this big old, what is that? That's 5 letters. This 5-letter ending. That's third person plural perfect tense, Elena. So what? To which? What do we think the subject of this clause is? Virtues? Yes. I guess it's virtues. To which the virtues of his father gave or has given peace. Okay, when I was looking at this, I was like, wait, what? Like, does that make sense? I think it does. His boy will rule the world, because we're talking about the world. We're talking about the world to which the virtue of this boy's father has given peace. That feels like that's something only Latin would do. Like, we would never talk this way in English, probably. We'd figure out a better way to say this in a slightly like clear-cut way. Or we would just put it in 2 separate sentences instead of trying to have a nested relative clause like this. But it does technically make sense. It just like barely sounds like it. So we do have our dated blue there, which we haven't had in a while. I want to find the relative clause chart. Maybe I could just Google it real quick. Is that an option? Let's do a couple more of these. We got 10 minutes still. A couple more sentences. This is a good warm up for y'all's homework tonight. Latin. Ready to do anything cool this weekend? What? Oh, Caden learned a lot of guitar songs. Keaton did what? Oh yeah, you rode your horse. I'll ride a horse. That sounds cool. I haven't done that since like I was a child. All right, there it is. I don't know where to put it in there without covering everything up. But yeah, there's qui, quai, quad. The beautiful thing about it is that the singulars are the same as the plural, so you're not having to remember multiple forms in terms of number. Yep. So when you see cui, just think to which. If you see quo or qua, think by which potentially, unless there is a preposition there like whom, like with which. Yeah, we were usually saying nominatives. When you see cuius, how would you translate cuius, the genitive? That wouldn't be to which or by which, but of which, or even if it was about a person, it'd be whose, like WHOSE. Okay, let's do a couple more sentences. Oh, this one's kind of cool. Yeah, this one's kind of cool. Luke, can you read this in Latin, please? Yeah, atque, bellum, asperum, gerera. Okay, I can tell like if something ends here, and then I see quae, and it's like, okay, we're doing another relative clause or something, but I almost like can't even tell where this relative clause ends, because I see like a conjugated verb, but then I see an infinitive, and I see another infinitive, so let's at least just take on the first four words first. Pacamala, autem, remanebant. What do you think that'd be, Parker and or Lucy? So few evil, how can we make that sound better? Few, well, they're plural, right? So let's actually say few evils. It still sounds a little weird, but like, yeah, that sounds about right. Few evils, however, you said what will remain. Good, because remanebant is future. Good. A few evils, however, will remain. So he's saying like this boy who's the son of God will usher in this new age, but a few bad things are still going to be happening. Quae. If you had to guess, what do you think quae is going to tell us more about? Remember, these relative clauses, they just exist to expand heavily on a noun that has probably already shown up in the Latin, and that we call that noun the antecedent. What do you think quae's antecedent is going to be, anybody? Yeah, we're probably going to learn more about these evils, the nature of these evils that will still exist. So evils, which, I think which would work, or that is okay too. Which, something about homines, eubebant. Remember, this new verb eubeo, does Chicken Boy tell us this? Good, he does. So eubeo, it takes a direct object and a complementary infinitive potentially. Meaning like you could command a direct object to do a verb. Does that make sense? So it's taking both of those potentially, not always. Sometimes it'll just take a direct object or just a verb. But what if it's taking both? So few evils will remain, however, which eubebant, that is also Lucy what tense? Yeah, because this is just second conjugation in future. So will command what? Homines labore, Cammy. What is homines labore? Not like, they're not really going together in that way. It's going to command, what do you think the direct object? Because like it's going to take a direct object and a complementary infinitive. So will command, yeah, the humans or men to work. Right. It's going to command them to work. Good. And what else? Remember, aqua is just a fancy and. It can mean and also or and even, but like if someone turns out as and, that's great. Yeah, you did good. And also awk. Do we have an awk? No, we don't have an awk. But and what else will it do? It's going to command them to gerera bellum asperum. Anyone? Cammy or Elena? Or Addie? It's going to command the men to work. It will command the men to work and to wage bitter war. Yeah, good. So yeah, we had two direct objects, two complementary infinitives there. So really, this one's not bad at all. If you're like, as far as the relative clause goes, this is actually a really chilled out one. You just have to know what Chicken Boy is telling you here. That would be the only thing that would maybe confuse you. But yeah, eubeo is a new verb, and so that's its deal. It takes a do and a complementary infinitive. All right. Oh my God. Let's do at least one more for today. Errant etiam altera bella. What tense is errant, Elena or Addie? It's similar to sunt. Sum esse, sum est, sumus est is sunt. This is sunt, except it's what, future or imperfect tense? Yeah, good. It's actually future. I forget about this verb too. So errant would be like they were. This is something like they will or there will be. So there will even be, etions like even or also, or there will also be Altera Bella. Addie or Carly don't remember. What is Altus? Maybe you don't remember. It's the same as Alias. You've seen this additive recently. Bailey? Yeah. There will even be other Bella, Addie or Carly. War, yeah. Altair and Alias both mean other. Sometimes they can mean like another, but others get here. There will even be other wars. And iterum is a new vocabulary word. It means what, anyone? What's iterum mean? We get words like iterate and reiterate. Like I find myself often reiterating things like wanting kids to write down vocab words. Jeff? Sorry? No, Parker. Yeah, it just means like again. And so there will even be other wars. And again, something about to Troy, a great something will happen to Achilles. Oh my gosh, Achilles. Okay. Achilles looks like he's in his nominative form. Midday tour is what I'm interested in here. Midday tour, Carly, Bailey, or Chloe. What voice is it? Good. It is passive. It has one of our passive endings from over there. Now this is from Mito Mitra. We've already seen the present passive of this verb. This right here, since this is a third conjugation verb, is what tense? Because we already saw the present. Wasn't it just mititur, like Titur?
Yeah.
This is mitator, so it's what tense? Yeah, it's future. So it's not like is sent. It's going to be. Now make it future. What's our favorite thing or helping verb for future tense? Yeah. So Achilles, what kind of Achilles? The great Achilles will be sent to Troy again. What is he saying here? This is kind of like a weird way of speaking. Does he mean actual Achilles is gonna like come back from the dead and like be sent to Troy again? Probably not. He's like saying like a new version of Achilles, like wherever in the world, there's going to be wars that are still happening, and like an Achilles will once again be sent to battle. It's not going to actually be Achilles. I mean, maybe it'll be like the great grandson of Achilles or something. But it's kind of cool to hear Achilles get name dropped. Let's do some speed translating until the bell. What?
I wasn't finished writing the
Oh.
last.
Remember, guys, homework, just do everything except the last two sentences. I'm just saying that pretty randomly, but I feel like it's like pretty long. Does you might have it out? I mean, it's still long without the last two sentences. Let me see, it's gonna be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The sixth sentence is giant. Good luck with that. 7, 8. All right, you know what, guys? How about you get halfway through? Where it says errant, which we just saw, that means there will be. You can stop there. Okay, so it's not the last two sentences. That's like the. Actually, it's just the last 3 sentences. The last one's very long. So yeah, you don't have to do the last 3 sentences of the homework. All right, let's speed trans this. We're gonna be doing an essay today, right? So say it if you know it. Where or when? So maybe the when or where. I'm not sure. We already saw this one today. Like now or already. When now. Yeah. What kind of? Yeah, the long age. Let's skip that. Faccio. It's to make. Yeah, it's like most normally make. That's like the default for Faccio. We'll make. No. Huh? What is Ted?
However.
Oh, what is Ted?
Ted.
Huh? You. Yeah. There's a chapter 5 where we'll make you a. Yeah. So now the Virgil is like addressing the boy. He's like, now, boy, vocative. When this long age, when now the long age had or will have, that's future perfect, will have made you a man, there will be noli labores. No, this is just like non except for nouns. It's like an adjective version of non. Yeah, no works, no labors, no wars. Yeah, Lucy?
So, where it says booby on your slide, it says like.
Yep. Unfortunate typo. Sorry about that. Yeah. It's just booby. All right. So there will be no wars, anything like that. Let's keep going.
No. See.
Does Chicken Boy tell us about Discado? Not boats. What is here? There we go. Look, I've already color coded it. No, this is like, huh? Yeah, just sailors. And Chicken Boy says this word means to depart. They depart their ships. Farmers, y'all are forgetting like old vocab. That's not good. Farmers also now will, release or relinquish fields or farms. Yeah, they'll give up their farms. Terra ipsa. Ooh, an intensive pronoun. What is terra? The earth or the land. Intensify it. The land itself. Remember, it's like when you see ipsa, it's like himself, herself, itself, whatever it's next to it. It's just going to intensify it. The land itself and will prepare all. And this is weird. This is data of a purpose. They'll prepare all for every man. That's weird, though. We haven't seen the data of purpose barely at all. So he's basically saying, like, everything's going to be great. Like, there'll still be some bad, but, like, once we overcome that, then, like, sailors won't need to be in their ships anymore. Farmers won't need to worry about the farms anymore. The land will provide for men just automatically. Does that sound like anything in the Bible, anyone? Anyone? No? Doesn't? No? It's kind of like Garden of Eden, right? Y'all are okay. Yep. Y'all don't like the discussion questions, y'all. Only answer the grammar ones. This one's weird. I'll just show y'all what the end of this is. Run ages. I don't know what that means. Anyway, that's a good place to leave off. All right, thank you guys. Good luck with the homework. Don't forget it, Elena. I will get you a copy by essay. Thank you.